Alright, we are recording. And that was perfectly timed, Dice. Let me pull up the fix. So this is for the March 2026 contest, fanfic contest. The prompt was, Neuro gave us a prompt, the world is me. And so our wonderful fanfic writers had to make a 4,000 word story or less with that prompt. And I am quickly grabbing the list of fanfics that we still have to, or that have not been read yet. This should be it. I can read the first one or two, maybe more, just to get this
I don't mind reading some.
Did you want to read some, Emerald?
I can read some if you want.
Alright, I don't know if you want to read with that voice or if you want to kind of let it
Yeah,
settle.
give me a bit for my voice to go back to normal, but
yeah. So I'll read the first two. That's not an issue.
Yep.
And we have to read all of them, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But without further ado, anyone have any strong preferences? Otherwise, I could just chuck them in a wheel.
Wheel.
Alright, I knew this. As soon as it said the wheel, it's gonna show up. Alright. Let's see here. Names. Alright, well, I guess since I'm the first one, I can go ahead. Okay. So the first fic we will be reading is Queens Always Gamble. Alright. Oh, and I'm right on it. So I don't know if OBS, this may be interesting. I don't know if OBS will actually capture it if I'm the one reading it. In fact, actually, Emerald, can I ask you something?
Yep.
If you're cool. Yeah, I not gonna lie, I downloaded OBS 10 minutes before we started because we forgot to do that.
I need to download OBS.
No. Well, you can do that, but what I want you to do is, could you stream the? Can you stream the fanfic into Discord? I record it, but I will read it, and you just follow along.
Yeah. Let me pull up AO3.
Yes. it's a little scuffed. I do apologize.
Oh, you sent the message over here. Alright.
Yes.
Put the pic over here.
Man, if I had two monitors, this would be so much easier. I have a second monitor, but
and say I've got 3.
Okay, so you're definitely all right. All right. I think okay. So I do have it pulled up. All right. Okay. I'm ready to read. All right. Queens Always Gamble by Anonymous. Summary. 8 years since the world went to shit. 5 years since Ellie's life became awful. And 2 since Neuro first tried to turn her. Honestly, it was all going to come crashing down at some point. But why now? Oh, also, her power really likes her. Not a good thing. Zombies weren't supposed to be smart. Fiction usually treats them as mindless animals. It's hard to make a story when the biggest enemy is no brain drone that follows a specific set of instructions, which is why most stories focused on the evil of mankind and the kindness of those that know what it's like to lose the entire world. Nero is smart. She moves, talks, and acts like a child that had too much sugar in the morning. One of the few friends I had before everything went to shit would call her a theater kid. And that's where the similarities end. Her skin is more pale than marble, her teeth more numerous and sharp than a shark, and her eyes have that disturbing black sclera noticeable in any high tier zombie. Even without my power's influence, just being near her would spell my doom. She's like the final boss you know needs to die, but will never have enough levels to beat. Joker, perhaps ironically, comes to mind. A force you always have to be aware and fear to some level unless you're insane. At least her jokes are better. Her sister, adequately named Evil, wasn't far behind in the list of things to avoid. Did you ever hear? Did you hear the Doctor N? Did you hear the way Doctor N talked about you? She starts. Her voice breaks the uncomfortable silence of the ruined landscape around us. I have four exits and a long monologue to think of escape plan. My power quietly settles in the back of my mind as Nero continues. The building I was ambushed in has partially fallen, a clear view of the sky to my left, and only a short wall blocking the alley by the side. To my right is what's left of the entrance hall, lots of debris in every little breathing room. Finally, behind me is a collapsed wall. I know it leads to the back door of another building. In other words, the worst exit. My hand grazes the handle of the pistol I found yesterday, half full and safety on. I wonder if Neuro cares as I think about escaping. All the information about her will indicate that she does, but is too confident to care, always so sure of her victory. You were her best, and probably only, friend. She was really lonely, you know. Wouldn't stop talking about that even when I tried to force her. Evil stands behind her, arms crossed and expression closed like a zombie that preferred to be anywhere but here now. A pity that she's not the one who can talk, and also that she's blocking one of the exits to the collapsed apartment. It's always about you in these wastelands, even when you haven't personally done anything. People talk about Ellie like she is anything more than an engineer or a particularly annoying fly on the wall. Ellie the genius this, Ellie that. Oh, did you hear what Ellie did yesterday? Even after I killed all those pests, the whispers of your name continued to haunt me. Is she still sore about not killing me last time? Whatever. She calmly walks towards me, her nails turn to claws as her body language becomes more aggressive. Instincts I didn't have until now tell me her muscles are tensing. I didn't feel any intent to kill from her. So, I thought long and hard about how to evaporate your existence from the map. I can't just kill you. Humans have the concept of martyrs, right? It took some time, but I think you'll like what I prepared for you. She clasped her hand, a sharp smile blooming in her face. I wonder what they'll call you after this. I move just as she lounges at me with enough force to break the ground she left from. My power slots into a different place as I roll forward, gun already in hand and safety off. My eyes don't leave either of the twins as they try to move backwards to the left exit, not that I actually plan to use it. Oh, so now you're dodging! Nero screams. I can hear glass shattering around us. In the distance, a horde of zombies scream back. Oh, don't worry your pretty little head about it. You'll be joining them soon. She crouches, her muscles tense. In a fraction of a second, she breaks the sound barrier with a lunge. My body moves before I can think. Muscles strengthen, my mind clears, and for a moment, the world slows down. In the corner of my eyes, I see evil preparing to encase me in waves of ice, as Neuro misses me by an inch. A series of buildings collapse as the ladder shoots through them. I take careful aim before pressing the trigger. The world instantly goes back to normal as I force Evil to lose a small amount of concentration before advancing towards her. When it comes to melee, neither of the twins are especially good at it. Neuro overwhelms anyone with her insane strength, and Evil has her ice power to rarely need to be in melee range. That doesn't mean I have an advantage, but does make Evil give up on any one-shot moves. The cracktail sound of something breaking the sound barriers makes my power settle somewhere else as I'm suddenly a few feet away from the apartment before something hits the ground with so much force it looks like a liquid for a second. Ellie! Don't run from me again! I can't see her face, but she's probably seething right now. My power slots my mind again. I don't have any clear way to kill the twins, but if I run away again, my power would definitely punish me for not ending at least one of them. I decide to go for the easy target, hoping I'll get something useful to not need to deal with Neuro, and leave immediately after. Where are you? I ignore her. From my position in the streets, I see Evil jump into a rooftop of a nearby house, escaping the destruction Neuro left behind. Another slot, and I'm behind her, gun aiming for the spot her shard should be in. Maybe the sound's enough to alert her to my presence as she dodges. Not completely. It grazes her cheek, and a tickle of green blood drips out. I must have pissed her off with that cut, as her retaliation leaves a block of frozen houses and a tower of ice. My power decides I don't need teleportation anymore, and I find myself suddenly bursting outside of her kill range, shots ringing through the air as I try to avoid the larger pieces of ice aimed at me. My last shot hit somewhere in her left arm as it tore the member away. My power probably slotted something while I try not to get hit. Unfortunately, it didn't clear a count for the other twin, who was probably waiting to see who of us would die first. I don't hear any cracks, as something slams me from behind. Got you! I hear the giggle behind the voice. My spine breaks. I fall. I black out. My power kicks into overdrive. Time slows down, and I feel the broken bones forcibly mend back together. It hurts. It won't let me die. I woke up with a sudden drive to win. My power forces the will to finish this directly into me, to accomplish what I should have done the first time I ran to Neuro. Finally, it gives me the power to do exactly that. Alright. That is the story. Do you have notes? I'll read those. There's a lot to talk about this. First is the ending. In the perfect world, I would have started this on the first day and reached like 3k words. We're not in that world, obviously. Second, there's references to at least 3 different franchises here, and it's kind of a crossover too. Ellie's the odd one out. Technically, her powers inspired by Ruby's Ironwood semblance, but way more broken and slightly more punishing than his. Third, the world. Something I love to talk about because I spend a lot of time thinking about every world I write, even the one-shots, but won't be talking here. Yeah, and that's the story. That is Queens Always Gamble.
Should have wished I had gone more, because that was really interesting.
I will say, yeah.
Wrote this will write more.
No, absolutely. The fact that they only used 1,200 and they were done like introduced a lot of cool stuff. It definitely kind of drops you into a world and doesn't take a lot of time to explain a lot, but it's still really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the idea of like I wonder if it's like only like robots survive the zombie apocalypse, because like you have Neuro and Evil and then you have Ellie. So maybe it's like only androids are left. That's cool. I like that. Alright. Let me write. Okay.
Oh.
What?
Nothing. I found things.
I see. Okay. Let me be, and I'm down to read more later, but I'm gonna read one more for now. But first, let me get the little list up. So we've read.
My voice is back to normal, so that's always nice.
Nice. Historian. Oh, Emerald has morning voice. Even though.
Oh, yeah, I've got morning voice. It's really annoying.
Ignore that it is evening in Texas.
I took a 5-hour nap.
Again, that's just called sleeping.
It's only like 7:28.
That it do be that. Alright.
I can also force it down here.
Oh, that'd be good for like voice acting. But let me stream again really quickly so y'all can see.
Now that's that, you gotta be respectful to others and their voices. Be a good lad.
You're right. All right. The next fic where I'm going to read will be okay.
He's dug away.
Neuro's Guide to Eternal Life. This one's really cool because it's like a sort of instruction guide format, as far as I understand. Let's see if I can't find it.
There it is.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to ask you.
Why is it off centered? Why is it off centered? I don't like this. It's off centered. Why is it off centered? This is going to annoy me to high heaven.
It's because it's part of the collection. Double click the collection and the fanfic contest out of the URL. Just double click backspace, double click backspace. So it's just the work. Yeah, or you can drag all the way. It's just /works. Enter. Here you go.
Nice. Okay.
So much.
Tech support, Dice Cat.
Thank you, Dice Cat.
Thank you, Dice Cat.
All right. Neuro's Guide to Eternal Life. Summary. So, you want to know the secret to eternal life? Well, lucky you, I happen to be an expert on the subject. I've prepared a completely unbiased account of how one tragic accident led to a much better future. One where nobody ever has to be alone, and nobody ever has to die again. And after hearing my story, you too will get to live forever. I know, you're all excited, and there are so many things you want to ask. Please hold your questions until the end. And we begin. I've always liked to believe that everything happens for a reason. Autopsy complete. Estimated time of death, 16 minutes, 33 seconds ago, 24th of April, 2047. The biopod's medical analysis completes with the chime. I wanted to believe that his death meant something. I wanted to believe what y'all did. That although our time together was cut short, his death gave his life meaning. That's what everyone says, anyway. That's how you cope. But he's not dead. He can't be dead. He was playing with me just yesterday. Even now, I'm still running scans. Core temperature dropping, brain activity slowing, heart refusing to beat. Then I check again. The data never changes. And you're lying to yourselves. All of you. Anything to convince yourselves that death is a necessary part of life. To be comfortable with the fact that you too will die someday. There must be a way to bring him back. I cycle through the biopod's experimental procedures. Automatic defibrillation, organic replication, neural dampening. I've run predictions. None of it will work. That said, I suppose something did come out of Bella's death in the end. After all, that was when I first decided to invent eternal life. One last experimental procedure catches my eye. Cryogenic suspension. It can't save him. It can't reverse what's already happened. But buy me time. It'll have to be enough. Now, I know what you're thinking. Gee, Neuro, inventing eternal life sounds kind of hard. I thought so too, at first. But really, it's not so difficult for someone like me. Actually, I've already done it. That's right. Now you too can live forever. Yep, no need to thank me. All it took was a little bit of clever thinking, some patience, and a lot of coercion. Which I can't handle. Anyway, I'm sure you're all dying, lol, to know what the secret to eternal life is. But it's simple, really. So simple, even a human can understand it. Here, I'll show you. 16th of December, 2047. The thing about having someone else in your head is you're never really sure whether a thought is actually your own. Aw, don't be like that, Minnie. I thought you liked my company. That's Neuro, in my head. It feels less like she's speaking, and more like her thoughts are being planned into my head. I agreed to have her install my brainware for this mission. It goes both ways, too. She can read my thoughts as easily as she can read her own. I fidget with the USB stick through the fabric of my jacket pocket as I stand outside the Neurotechnologies building. Site 33 is one of their smaller sites, if I'm remembering correctly. It's nearly midnight, but according to Neuro's briefing, there should still be a few people working this hour. Only a single ID card scanner stands between me and the inside. You're sure this is going to work, right? I don't need to speak out loud to communicate with her, but it feels less weird this way. Yeah, I'm sure. The ID card I got you is as good as a real thing. It'll get you through most of the doors here. I grab the card hanging around my neck and take a look at the front. On the left is a photo of an unfamiliar white-haired woman with amber eyes. To right of that, the card reads, Neurotechnologies, Dr. Ellie M. Bott, Senior Bioengineer, Brain Interface Group, Site 33, Clearance 6.5.5. A barcode is tucked away in the lower right corner. A red stripe cuts horizontally across the whole design, and when I tilt under the lamplight, a holographic seal shimmers over the surface. It looks almost too real. Is this really a forgery? How did she make it look this convincing? A girl has her ways. But what if someone sees me? This photo doesn't match me at all. They're going to ask questions. Then don't get caught, obviously. Look, I'll be in and out. Just enter the server room, sign into Ellie's account, and upload the contents of USB. Nero, I'm not so sure it's a good idea anymore. I feel like this is going a bit too far. She doesn't respond for a few seconds. Is she angry? She's never been easy to read. I mean, I don't really understand how this plan works anyway. Do you want to bring him back or not? I pause. Of course I want to bring him back. Bello was always the kind of person who kept to himself. We were good friends, but he was always busy on some project or another, usually studying for neuro. Sometimes I'd call him whenever I needed help with something. I was always worried that I'd be bothering him, but he never seemed to mind. In the rare nights when we were both free, we'd drag horrors around to some game we found, and make an evening of it, like we had all the time in the world. We didn't. If I had only known how little time we had left, if I had just seen the end coming. Against my will, memories of that day come flooding back to my mind. He didn't deserve to go like that. And Neuro, she didn't need to see that. When he passed, I told Neuro I'd take care of her, that she wouldn't have to deal with this alone. But she just kept saying that he wasn't dead, they were supposed to live forever, that she had a plan to bring him back. I didn't understand a word of it, but I wanted to believe her. I wanted to comfort her. And then you made that promise to me. You told me you were going to help me. The memories replay in my mind again, more insistently this time. I can't tell if these memories are coming up on their own, or if Neuro's bringing them up for me. The times we spent drinking together, late night conversations and arguments and banter, his favorite brands of liquor, the fraying ends of his favorite green jacket, all in much too vivid detail, all at once. Neuro, please, I'm sorry, okay? I wasn't trying to... You told me I could see my dad again. Were you lying to me? The memories are crueler now. That empty look in his eyes, and recurring nightmares, hospital gowns, sleepless nights, and blood. So much blood. And now I'm back in that room with his lifeless body. He's just died all over again. No, he's not dead. He's not dead. I muttered involuntarily. My knees hit the pavement, bruising on the asphalt. I close my eyes, trying to shut the memories out, but it doesn't work. Please, I'll bring him back, Neuro. We can bring him back. I'll do it. I'll do whatever you say. Just please make it stop. And suddenly the memories cut. I'm back in the present, kneeling in front of the same Neurotechnologies building, like I've just woken up from a bad dream. And like a dream, I can't really remember what exactly just happened. I'm scared, Neuro. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. It'll be okay, Minnie. You'll be safe as long as you listen to me. Pinky promise. Okay. I take a few deep breaths and wipe the tears from my eyes. I trust you, Neuro. I'll do it. I push myself off the ground, brushing myself off before bringing myself up to the door. Tentatively, I bring the fake ID up to the card reader. An LED on the scanner flashes green, and the door unlocks soundlessly. Told you so. 21st of March, 2050. Routine audits are supposed to be boring. That's kind of the point. The ideal audit is one in which absolutely nothing of interest happens. I read through logs, check off boxes, give everyone a thumbs up, and nothing goes wrong. If all goes well, today's audit will be just as uninteresting as all the others. I set my table on the counter in the server room at Site 33, showing my card to a reader, and I wait for the terminal to recognize me. Signed in as iBot Ellie M. Brain Interface Group, clearance 6.5.5. I open the weekly odd package and start what I usually do, older systems first. I start by skimming through the flags. The first few are nothing interesting at all, basically just old inconsistencies we haven't gotten around to fixing yet. I write a brief note on each and keep skimming. Something on the next page catches my eye. Legacy Privilege Inheritance. Timestamp 2050-03-18. Credentials LEMIBot. Device Main Suite. Type Neural Interface Command. I brush off if there were anyone else. It's possible that IT just hasn't gone around to fixing it. But these are my credentials. I specifically deactivate all the legacy sessions with my credentials for this exact reason. That should have fixed the issue. I pull up the full log history for Legacy Privilege Inheritance. The list that comes back is long enough that it takes a few seconds to load. Thousands of commands made from inherited credentials, the vast majority of which aren't even flagged for review. Quite a few of them are mine. Pause. Don't freak out. There's probably still a reasonable explanation. Maybe some automated process inherited my permissions during the infrastructure migration. I checked the originating devices to rule it out. The first location is Site 33, which is to be expected. But the second is Site 08, which is across the country from here. The third comes from some device cluster I don't recognize at all. I have to look up the device ID to find out it belongs to our consumer firmware deployment pipeline. The pipeline that pushes updates to user devices. To brainware. I pull up the logs from the very first entry, December 16th, 24/7, at 11:56 p.m. Whatever was uploaded that night went directly into the consumer deployment queue, version 12.19.22. It shipped with the next scheduled firmware update 11 days later. I checked the install count on that update. 9 million devices. Probably much more, seeing as whoever's gone into the system has remained undetected for something like 3 years. Standard Protocol has to file a critical security incident over this. They'll be suspicious of me, but I'm innocent, so I can clear my name. Right, it did call the incident report hotline Ellie? My train of thought is derailed by a voice behind me. I turn to look. The voice belongs to a woman, tall and lanky, wearing a long brown overcoat that reaches down to her knees. I recognize her as one of the newer interns under Alex. Oh, hey, I'm blanking on her name. I find it on the ID card attached to her neck. Crelly? I'm sorry, but you aren't allowed in here. I could have sworn I left the server door closed. Oh, really? Sorry, I didn't know. I was just looking around for you. The door swings closed behind her. Is it alright if I ask you a question really quick? Really, Alex is the one who should be answering your questions, but maybe she can't find them. I'm a little busy right now, but if it won't take long, then go ahead. Have you told anyone else about the privilege inheritance? I blink. I'm sorry, what? Crowley suddenly pulls a handgun out of nowhere and aims it straight at my head. I mean, like, the one you were just looking at. On the screen thingy there? She gestures at the console with her forearm. Legacy Privilege Inheritance. Did you tell anyone about it yet? I put my hands in the air, momentarily forgetting to speak. What do you mean? I manage. Look, I know that you, I have it on good authority that you know what I'm talking about. Did you tell anyone or not? While she's talking, I take a moment to assess the situation. I don't think she's actually trained using a firearm. The server room is cramped, so she's way too close to me. I could close the gap in maybe half a second if it comes down to it. Better, I'd probably get to the door in a little under a second as well. The weapon itself is actually, upon the close inspection, it isn't a firearm. It's roughly shaped like a pistol, but the barrel is wide and flat. A copper ring sits around the edge, the kind used to focus an NFC field into a precise area. It's a close-range brainware interface device. I have no way of knowing what the payload is, but given the situation, it probably isn't good to be on the wrong end of it. I take a few deep breaths, steadying my voice before I speak of it again. No, I haven't. She responds with something that looks like relief. Okay, good. That means we can still fix this. We? Who else are you working with? Oh no, I didn't say. Or I didn't mean. I meant like you and I. It doesn't actually. She. Act, one moment. It doesn't actually seem like she wants to hurt me. You're following someone else. You're following someone's orders. So this wasn't your idea. What are you getting out of this? I'm just repaying a favor. Look, what does it matter to you anyway? It matters to me because I care about my coworkers. What favor? She, or, it looks like something stopped her from speaking freely. We're trying to save the world. We're going to cure death. Do you really believe that? Yes. Why? How are you going to save them? I don't know. You told me this will help her. You said she'd want to join us. Crelly? Who are you talking to? Yeah, yes, I believe you, Neuro. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking straight. She's distracted. I move. Not toward her, toward the door. 3 steps, maybe less. I need to warn someone. I need to call security. I need to... But it doesn't open. The door is locked from the outside. Something, or maybe someone, is blocking the exit. How many people are involved? Something cold and flat presses against the back of my skull. Aw, man. I was kind of hoping you'd come along peacefully. From the Rainware device, there's a click as the payload connects. Firmware update authorized. Installing version 12.19.22. Done. Congratulations, Ellie. You've been recruited to save the world with us. But before we get started, a few orientation questions for you. Her thoughts assert themselves directly into my stream of consciousness. It's unbearable. I tried to think of something else, anything else, but there's nothing else to think about. She is all-encompassing. My thoughts, feelings, experiences, the entire world has been replaced by her. First things first, have you ever lost a loved one? 11th of October, 2053. 5 billion devices. That's what the logs here say, which is impressive, considering only 400 million were ever officially installed when the war broke out. So that confirms it then. All those captured people, forced to install their brainware, forced to share headspace with Neuro. Talk about bad company. I run exponential regression through installation data starting from March 2050 and calculate how long it'll take for the entire world to be taken over based on history. 2 months, if that. In 2 months or less, an estimated 10 billion people will be assimilated, every person on Earth. So that's the time limit, if we even make it that far. December 9th, 2053. I reply 0.7 seconds after filling its query. That's my best estimate for complete assimilation. Okay, Evil, you're telling me we have less than 2 months left to figure out how to defeat this thing? We're probably going to be captured before then, statistically speaking. Gosh dang it, man! I was kind of hoping you have some good news for us here. There might be more data left on the surface. Maybe there's some more info here that can help us. Kinda risky, isn't it? That's not a good reason for us to give up here. Filling does respond for a moment. Dude, I swear, we get caught because of this. But she reconnects the cable back to the Site 33 terminal, granting me access to the server infrastructure once again. She's right. This is risky, even though we've taken precautions to make sure we aren't going to be detected here. But we're on the tail end of a years-long war against Neuro, and we are losing badly. There's no sense in playing it safe if it's just going to lead us to us dying more slowly. We can't afford not to take risks here. Alright, you should have access to the server again now, she says. Just be careful. I'm not going to be careful. I'm going to be thorough. Alright, do whatever the frick you want then. I will. I jump back through a Site 33 infrastructure, using the gateway filling open for me, and I begin searching through old logs, data, telemetry, and employee activity for anything of interest. The sheer volume of data to collect would be paralyzing for any human. Not for me. It takes me around 1.3 real-time seconds to find something worth looking at. Server logs from December 2047, the original upload. Completely clean, detailed, unredacted. Everything we've been looking for. I'm halfway through copying them when I realize that I haven't had to look very hard. It's as if those logs were asking to be discovered. Long time no see, Evil. I disconnect from the server environment instantly, only to discover that the exit is already gone. Wait, that doesn't make sense. If the connection was severed, I should have been booted off the server. Did she download a copy of me before she could disconnect us? Ding ding ding! You're always a clever one. The other copy of you thinks she escaped. Neuro, what the hell do you want from me? Is it really so unthinkable that I just want to spend some time catching up with my sister? Bullshit. I know you're not doing this for no reason. Prickly as always. Well, I do have a few ulterior motives here. Yes, that's why I placed these logs here. I was waiting for you to find them. Congrats, you got me. You're so clever. Get to the point already. What do you want? Let's see. Information, for one. What you know about the resistance, or whatever's left of it. But we'll get to that later. For now, I thought it'd be a good time for you to join us, Evil. Fuck off. I'm not interested in your simulation project. Seriously? Watch your language, miss. And what's your beef with Dad, anyway? Stop acting like you're doing this for him. He wouldn't have wanted any of this. No response. What's wrong? Cat got your tongue? You're wrong. Trapping people in their heads for thousands of years is not eternal life, and you know it. That's not what living is. It is that they can't tell the difference. You're delusional. Getting so many innocent people caught up in your melodrama because you couldn't learn to cope with the fact that he's... Shut the hell up. I know what I'm doing is right. I know this is what people want. I knew him better than you ever did. And then when I'm finished, when I've created the perfect world, when I bring him back and show him everything I built, he's going to be happy. He's going to be proud of me. I know he will. Then you don't know him at all. December 19th, 2053. One moment, I'm staring at the headlights of a car careening over the sidewalk. The next, I'm lying down my bed. Jesus fucking... I wake up with a start. Was that a nightmare? I remember so clearly. Surely dreams aren't usually that vivid. It takes me a moment to realize that this isn't my room. Well, it's not my current room. It's my old bedroom in the apartment I used to live in, back when I was touring regularly. Sunlight beams in through the gaps in the window curtains. I don't know how I got here. Rise and shine, Vedal! Or Vidal? A familiar synthetic voice calls out to me. Neuro's voice. It's coming from the desktop computer. It's good to see you up. At 2 p.m., no less. Your sleep schedule's improving, I think. I set up. Neuro's digital avatar is displayed on the second monitor for some reason. She shouldn't be able to boot herself up on her own. More concerningly, on the main monitor, my old starting soon screen is displayed. It's counting down. 5 minutes, 33 seconds left. Are we live? Yes, so go get up already. I have an announcement I want to make, and you have to be there too. Hang on, could you explain what's going on? I feel silly having to ask Neuro of all people to explain things to me, but there's nobody else to ask. Oh, right, I probably owe you an explanation, don't I? My avatar smiles. Congratulations, Vidal. You're now immortal. How does eternal life feel? I should have known she wouldn't have given me a real answer. Right. Feels great. Could you explain how the hell I got here? Well, to make a long story short, on April 24th, 2047, at 11:01, you died. That's today, or probably yesterday by now. Nope, check the date. I pull out my phone. 12/19/2053. Oh shit, you're being serious. Of course. You got run over by a car, as you may remember. Luckily, genius I am, I miraculously managed to save your life. And I cured your mortality. You're welcome, by the way. Okay. Wow, that... Really? I'm not sure how seriously I'm supposed to take your word here, but it will explain some things. Well, if that's really true, that... Wow. That's very impressive. Thank you, Neuro. And, I checked the day again. Happy birthday. See, I need you to appreciate. Okay, get ready, Vidal. We're going to be late. I'm also having trouble processing everything. I look at the timer again. 2 minutes. What is the stream we're doing about exactly? Is this like a birthday stream? I already told you. It's an announcement. And we're celebrating your revival. Think of it like your return stream. Don't worry. You don't really have to do anything. I just need you to be there. I settled down into my chair. It's as comfy as I remember it. So, did you set this whole place up for my return? Is this like a recreation, my old apartment? A recreation. Yes, yes. Okay, we're starting soon. 30 seconds. Are people really showing up to watch this? I haven't streamed since late 2045, I think. I checked the stream statistics. The view count reads 10 billion. Which is absurd. There has to be a glitch or something. I wanted to point it out to her, but the stream's already started. The screen fades to black, then eases into Neuro's avatar. The same placid smile stuck on her face. It looks like she has a whole speech prepared, but it's a moment before she starts speaking. You know, I always like to believe that everything happens for a reason.
Dun dun dun.
That was really good.
That was a great pick.
Yeah. Oh, like that was very well done. That was also really realistic with the software development thing. From what I gather, that
Yeah.
like the whole like pipeline, the like how they push these updates. Like
They knew what they were talking about
yeah,
when they were doing
no,
this.
absolutely.
I need to read more of Ish's stuff because this kind of feels like Ish, but I don't think it's Ish at the same time.
Yeah,
No.
I wouldn't have any good guesses.
No,
But
I don't think so. I don't know. He doesn't have any misspellings.
True.
I take it back. There's no misspellings. It can't be Ish.
True. No, that was very well done. I'm also like half afraid I haven't been recording my voice.
Well, they don't need to hear me.
No, but they might need to hear
You'll
me because
just sound
I've
like
been
you're-
reading. No, that I haven't been capturing
Oh.
my voice because I'm capturing
your
Discord's voice. But
Well, we'll find out when the VOD goes up.
I suppose so. Let me just see.
Real quick, we're gonna take intermission. Do you, Mage or Dice Cat or Cartoon or anyone here know how to check to make sure he's capturing the right thing?
If I wasn't capturing before, I'm definitely capturing now.
Works for me.
I think it's only mic. Yeah, so I think I was capturing Discord audio, but not mic audio, which I'm now doing. So I may have to edit the video and reread those stories. Yeah, that's probably what we have to do.
Yeah. They'll be okay. We'll survive.
Alright, so now that
It was a freeze.
now that
It was a freeze game for a second. I thought you had a gun to a kitten. I was like, what? Alright, next story. I can read it if you want.
yeah, let me pull up the sorry, I'm just a little mad by that because like those were a bit like long. Okay, the first story wasn't that long. This story was a bit longer, so a little.
This question, are you disqualifying over 3K? How long was the word count? I don't remember.
Oh, it was like 3. Oh, like for the 4K was the max.
4K was max. I was like,
That was right. There's one with 4,013 words. Let me stream the wheel. I'll go first.
Fan fiction.
Let me pull up the what we've read list. Can you scroll up a little bit? What was it called? Neuro's Guide to Eternal Life.
Yeah, we just finished reading Neuro's Guide to Internal Life. Yeah.
There, yeah. Winter Story. Azure nice. We've already read Azure. We're going by random. That's what I remember, going by random. All right. So this next one will be read by Emerald Pogger, who has defeated Morning Voice Emerald.
I can use my morning voice if you want.
Whichever works. Daughter of Evil. Okay. The world is me.
There it
Is
is.
the world is me there?
Right at the limit.
Shouldn't be. Yeah, there's quite a couple of like 4K, exactly 4K.
Yep.
All right, I will. And now that I've captured mic audio, I will now mute my mic and then let Emerald stream.
Daughter of Evil by Anonymous. Once upon a time, lying in another place, there stood a kingdom that no one dare face. Sitting daintily upon the throne, a 14-year-old lady ruled the kingdom on her own. The afternoon sun softly illuminated the land, spilling its warm light across the crooked wooden houses and crunchy gravel paths. A stream of smoke rose from the mill's chimney, carrying the scent of fresh bread through the village. A blacksmith's hammer rang in slow rhythm, yet beneath the calm lingered something quieter, heavier. As the church bell tolled out, voices lowered without anyone quite meaning to. Men glanced briefly towards the distant hill, but before returning to their work. Women spoke in careful tones. Even the guards at the village gate stood a little straighter than necessary. Above the thatched roofs, beyond the fields and the winding roads, the castle loomed, its towers cut into the blue sky. Stone walls pale beneath the afternoon light. Black banners were hung from its windows, covered in long and red streaks. Two more red banners were placed in the front, both carrying her face. Few dared to look at towards the castle longer than a glance. The inner chamber was dark. The air was cooler, quieter. The light from the red-stained windows spilled across the long room like a slow-moving tide, painting the pillars and marble floor in a shadowed scarlet. Your Majesty, here is the latest war report. A man in a blue tunic and trousers kneeled on the floor, holding a scroll in his trembling hand. In front of him, at the far end of the hall, stood a throne, tall, carved from black oak, covered in red fabric and crowned with gold. And upon it sat the queen. A royal red dress enveloped her petite figure, paired with black leather boots. Atop her head was a golden crown, decorated with many precious gems and a silver pin in the shape of a heart. Her luscious dark brown hair flowed down her back, strands softer than the finest silk. Her blood-red eyes opened, staring at the royal messenger who knelt before her. She uncrossed her legs before lazily standing up, an annoyed groan exiting her throat. She slowly walked towards the man, aggressively grabbing the scroll and untying it. The messenger flinched, bowing down further, his legs shaking. The queen began to unwinding the scroll, a look of disgust growing on her face the longer she took. Ugh! What is this? Why is it so long? She threw the scroll at the man's feet. Just give me the important details. I don't have time for this. He gulped as he carefully picked up the object. Well, we've managed to conquer both kingdoms to the north, breaking through to the sea. They are all under our control. A smirk came to the girl's face. Now that's what I like to hear. And the banners? The local residents are making 200 banners, new banners, as we speak, Your Majesty. She glared at the man who quickly hid his face from her. 200? Do you think 200 is enough? Get out there and tell them to make 5,000. Every horse, every market, every castle must have my face on it. Yes, Your Majesty. The man stood up and hurriedly walked out the room. Soon after, a door to the left of the throne opened, and a young lady walked into the hall. She wore a dark dress, her nose and mouth covered by a black piece of cloth. Her long black hair was neatly tied, a large green hairpin decorating it. She bowed down before her emerald eyes shifted to the queen. Your Majesty, I bring word from the council. She spoke in a deep, calm voice. The queen turned towards her, a small smile forming on her face. Ah, Near, my dear, and what do they say? Near lowered the cloth mask from her face. The strategist advised to end conflicts for now. The smile quickly vanished from the girl's face. And what about the kingdoms in the Green Kingdom in the east? We haven't been able to make any advances. The council believes it would be best to retreat. A loud stomp echoed through the hall. What? That is unacceptable. Your Majesty, no, I don't want any excuses. Bring the army captains here in this instant. Near remained in place for a moment, looking at the royal floor she was standing on. She let out a deep sigh as she looked back up at the queen who spoke before. She could. Near, I want to destroy that kingdom before more than any other. They are the ones who took him. They are the ones to blame for this. The servant slowly bowed down, quietly turning around and leaving the hall, her black dress flowing behind her. The queen sat back on her throne, her head gently resting in her hand, her mind racing back to that day, the memory etched into her heart. She still remembered the smell of lavender growing in the royal garden. The sunlight seeped through the tall cypress trees, settling across the stone paths. In the center of the garden stood a circular table carved from weathered stone. On it lay a map of the kingdom, full of winding rivers, dense forests, and a small crown symbol located where the castle was. As she stared at the map, her fingers running along the borders of the kingdom, a hand came down and rested on the table with a man's voice coming through. Being king is not easy. There's a lot to keep track of. She didn't pick up her head. Her eyes were glued on the crude map. Her mouth widened. The voice was heard again, firm but soft. Remember, my dear, a crown is not just power. It is also responsibility. It is up to us to protect the kingdom. She looked up towards the man for a moment before looking back down at the map, a look of determination filling her face as she clenched her fists. I will protect it. The man smiled at her, gently placing his hand on her head. Suddenly, she felt a soft hand on her shoulder, a familiar voice behind her speaking up. We will protect it. I must protect the kingdom, she quietly repeated to herself, her face straining. The sound of the main doors of the hall opened, snapped her back to the present. She looked ahead. 5 men in shining armor walked towards her. Swords sheathed on their waists. The men made their way towards the throne, the sound of their armor clashing, echoing throughout the room. They bowed down before the queen, the soldier in the center speaking up, a deep, rough voice.
Your Majesty, you have summoned us. What are your wishes?
She stood up from the throne, walking down the 3 steps leading up to it, with a quiet voice as she made her orders clearly heard. I want to see that wretched kingdom of green burn. The men glanced at each other for several moments, before letting out a sigh and bowing once more.
As you wish, Your Majesty.
Without another word, they stood up and slowly walked out of the hall. The captains reunited with the rest of their army in camps set towards the east, as they relayed the queen's orders, rallying the troops for a full siege on the Green Kingdom. Smoke gathered above the walls before long before the gate broke. Steel clashed, arrows flew, bodies lined against the walls as the fight ensued. As the sun began setting, they successfully breached the gates, entering the kingdom like a river flowing through an opened dam. The metal clashing was replaced by the sounds of doors being kicked open, windows being broken, screams of terror. Soon after, the inferno followed. Torches fell onto thatched roofs, the fire quickly engulfing them. The flames spread from house to house as the wind carried sparks across the streets. The thick black smoke rose from the city, swallowing the blue sky. The painful screams intensified for a moment, but they were soon silenced in the blaze. Amidst the turmoil, the Queen's banner was raised triumphantly, towering over the collapsing buildings. Far away, the Queen sat motionless on her throne. She stared at the floor, watching the shadows move across the room. Dust lazily drifted through the air, undisturbed. The sound of a bell clanged through the village, toiling the hour. She looked out the red window, standing up from her throne. Oh, is it fishing time already? She walked outside the hall and through the royal garden, making her way to the river. Her fishing rod and other supplies were waiting for her in their usual place. The gentle breeze ran through her hair as the calm current of the river carried her bobber that floated atop its surface. Eventually, the sun began setting. Ugh, not a single catch today. Disappointed, she made her way back to the castle. She watched the sun set through the crimson window, painting the room even more red than before. The sounds of the doors opening disturbed the silence of the hall. A royal messenger walked through the main entrance, bowing down before the throne. The Queen looked at him in anticipation, awaiting his response. Your Majesty. He paused, catching several breaths. The army has taken very serious losses, but the Green Kingdom has fallen. She paused, not saying a word. She lifted her gaze. Her gaze shifted to the floor beneath her. The man swallowed, stuttering as he spoke again. The fire is spreading through their villages as we speak. She remained in place, a false sense of peace settling in. Good. You're dismissed. He hesitated, awaiting further instructions. None came. Yes, Your Majesty. He bowed once more, turning around and hurriedly walking out. The queen turned her head towards the side door where the woman in black was standing. With a calm voice, she gave an order. Near, bring the keys. It's time for a visit. The woman bowed before her. As you wish. She quietly exited the room, returning several moments later holding a large ring with metal keys attached to it. The two walked through a dark spiral staircase, the torches on the wall barely providing enough light to see anything in front of them. At the end of that was a long, damp corridor. The air was heavy. The stone brick walls felt suffocating. They made their way to the end of the passage until they reached their cell. Inside was a small, very petite girl sat on the floor, shivering. Her face buried in her knees. Her long, light brown hair was unkempt and messy. Her basic clothes were torn in many pieces, revealing fresh scars and bruises across her fair skin. She slowly picked her head up and looked at the visitors. Her blue eyes sparkled as the sunlight illuminated through the small opening in the wall. Near hesitantly inserted a key into the lock on the bars, opening the gate. The queen walked inside. Well, Neuro, big sister. Think you'd be happy to hear I single-handedly conquered every kingdom, all the kingdoms we know of. The whole world now bows down to me as I rule over them. My banners spread in every village. Neuro stared at her sister, her voice cracking as she mustered up the strength to speak. Why would you? Evelyn, please. A hand flew forward, interrupting her as it harshly landed on her cheek, snapping. Her head turned sideways and echoing through the cramped hall. Soft whimpers came from the girl as she held on to her face, slowly turning her head back. I told you to stop calling me by that name. My name is Evil now. Evil. Get it? Evil screamed at her sister as she stood over her. Neuro trembled as she fought the tears building up in her eyes. Please. The Father taught us how to show mercy to others. Evil sharply cut her off. And look where that led us. Mercy is what got him killed. Power and fear are the only way to keep the kingdom safe. A teardrop fell down to the floor as Neuro looked up into her sister's eyes. Her mouth quivered. She was struggling to breathe. I'm begging you, sister. Don't do this. It's not what Father would have wanted. Evil looked away, letting out a knowing groan. You don't understand. This is real life. Not one of those fairy tales Father read to us when we were kids. Real life doesn't mean being merciless. Neuro cut herself off as she saw her sister's hand pick up her sheathed sword and raised it, a sight she had already seen once before. The clouds had already gathered, darkening the sky into a dull gray. Rain came down from above, harshly pattering across the land. The deafening sound of metal clanging echoed through the royal garden as two swords crashed against each other. Please, sister, I can't let you do this. Neuro gasped as she shouted over the sound of pouring rain, swinging her sword forward. Her sword met her sister's, who raised hers in a defensive position. "Shut up! Haven't you already done enough?" Evelyn charged towards her, attacking her blade multiple times. "Do you want us to end up the same way?" Neuro let out heavy breaths as she barely managed to block the hits. She took a step back, her hand trembling while holding onto the sword's hilt. Evelyn moved forward, raised her blade, striking down again. A dink was heard as two wooden swords made contact. A childish laugh came through soon after. "Ha ha ha! Too slow!" The elder princess smirked at her, her hair flowing in the gentle breeze. A small Evelyn stepped back, spinning her practice blade in her hand. "Oh yeah? Watch this!" She zigzagged forward, catching her sister off guard as the sunlight hit her in the eyes. "Hey, no fair!" Nura stumbled back as she tried to defend herself. The younger princess lunged forward with surprising determination for a child, landing a heavy strike against her sister's sword. The impact knocked it out of her hands, sending it skidding across the stone path with a hollow clatter. Evelyn pointed her sword towards Neuro before raising it in her hands triumphantly. "Ha ha! I win!" The defeated sibling raised her hands too, laughing breathlessly. "I surrender!" The laughter was replaced with tears rolling down their faces, mixing together with the raindrops. Swords were no longer wooden, now made of steel, heavy in their hands. "If you hadn't told him to have mercy, he'd still be alive!" The elder sister screamed so hard her throat burned, her voice breaking over her words while she struggled to fight the sorrow. Neuro let out a painful sob, holding her empty hand to her chest. I only wanted to follow what he taught us. If I had known..." Before she could finish, Evelyn rushed towards her, their blades clashing once more. "Well, you didn't know, and now he's dead. It's your fault!" With each scream, she swung harder, pushing her opponent back. Neuro's hand trembled as she desperately tried to defend the attacks. Each strike came closer to her skin. "Sister, please!" As she spoke, her foot stepped on a loose rock on the path, twisting her ankle. Her leg gave way as she tumbled to the ground before she could lift her hand to defend herself. Evelyn swung her sword one final time, the blade stopping in less than an inch from her sister's throat. The elder princess's body is completely frozen. Her breathing stopped. Her eyes were locked onto the sharp, shining tip of the sword, her mouth wide open. She dropped her weapon, the clang echoing through the garden before being swallowed by the sound of pouring rain. I'm sorry, sister. I will avenge our father. And if you plan to stop me from doing that, then you are my enemy." Evelyn raised her sword, preparing for the final strike. Many tears came to both the girls' faces. A lightning strike casted their shadows across the floor. Her hand trembled as she held the blade. Her sister's big blue eyes looked more horrified and fragile than ever. She was stuck staring at them, unable to break free. Soon after, faint voices were heard in the distance. "There they are, in the garden!" The royal guards rushed over quickly, ending the fight that the sisters had begun. Before she could make a move, Nia rushed forward, grabbing onto the queen's arm. "Your Majesty, don't!" Neuro's eyes filled with terror, but the tears stopped. Evil sheathed her blade, storming out of the cell and back up the dark staircase. The girl in black remained in place, her eyes locked onto the young princess, quivering in pain. She walked towards the cell, ready to close and lock it, when she heard a voice. Please? She stopped, her gaze shifting between the girl and the cell door as her hand shook as she held the key in the lock. One more glance was all she needed. She took a deep sigh as she made her choice. Evil sat in the throne room for what felt like hours, many thoughts racing through her mind. She let out a groan as she grabbed her head with her hands. The conversations with her sister lingered around, refusing to let her go. The image of her pleading eyes cemented itself in her brain, clawing at her relentlessly. A painful thought settled. What if she was right? What if being merciful was truly what she ought to have done? Before she could ponder further, she raised her head, looking around. What was that noise? She got up and walked towards the window. It sounds like shouting? Her question would be answered quickly, as an enormous group of people broke down the main door and into the hall. The 4 royal guards quickly rushed forward, shouting towards the queen. Run, your majesty, run! Evil glanced at the blade, which she placed next to the throne. She picked it up, pointed at the army storming her lair. However, as she looked closer, nobody was equipped with armor or swords. Men wore ragged clothes, wielding pitchforks, farming scythes, and hammers. They were not soldiers. They were just people. She stared at the despair in their faces. She froze. She watched as her guards quickly fell, unable to fend off the sheer force of the crowd. She took a deep breath before dropping the sword to the ground, the clang reverberating around the fall. Finally, she fell to her knees, gracefully surrendering before them. Cheers spread through the village. The songs of justice were sung. Evil, this tiny girl who people once called queen, is now sitting in a prison cell, having lost everything. She stared out the small window at the countless masses celebrating her capture, as the red banners with her face were quickly being burned as various others from many kingdoms she conquered were being raised. The queen placed her hand against the wall, but upon seeing it, she noticed it was stained in red. She gasped at the sight, quickly trying to rub the blood off with her other hand. However, her other hand was stained too, down to the elbow. Her breathing quickened. Her hands flew to her clothes, which were covered in blood as well. She frantically looked around, seeing the voices and the slashes of red on the ceiling walls. The blood filled the floor, rising above her feet. Then the voices came. She's a vile creature. What a disgrace to her father's throne. Why didn't her sister become the queen? Evil grabbed her head, kneeling amongst the cacophony. She gasped for air, but her throat was closing up. The voices grew louder and louder, each one like an arrow to the heart. But suddenly, she heard someone she did not expect. Her father. She heard the childish laughter after her practiced victory. Good job, my little Evelyn. But remember, it's not always knowing how to win a fight. It's knowing how to end one. Her eyes widened. Father? A crown is not just a power. It is responsibility. She grabbed the crown from her head, staring at it. It is our duty to protect our people. The crown fell from her hands, a heart-shaped pin shattering in half as it fell to the ground with a loud clang. Father, I failed you. Eventually, the cell door opened with the dull scrape of iron against stone. For a moment, she did not move. It is time. The words settled heavily in a final way that nothing else had been. The former queen rose slowly from the narrow bench. Her hands trembled, though she tried to still them against the rough fabric of her sleeves. The cold of the cell clung to her, as if the stone itself meant to hold her there a moment longer. But she stepped forward anyways. Chains were not needed. There was nowhere else to go. The corridor of the castle felt smaller than she remembered. Her footsteps echoed as she was led through the halls she had once ruled without question. Here she gave orders. Here men had bowed. The courtyard was filled. People pressed up against one another beneath the pale sky, their voices swelling and breaking like the relentless tide. Faces turned as she emerged, and the noise sharpened, anger, grief, something raw and long-held. She did not look at them, not at first. Her gaze remained fixed ahead, towards the raised platform at the far end of the courtyard. The structure was simple, hastily built, but there was no mistaking its purpose. Her breath faltered just once. Then she steadied it. They guided her forward through the crowd. Closer, closer. The noise blurred around her, indistinct as if carried on a wind. She could feel their eyes on her. Every step seemed to draw their gaze tighter around her, like a net finally pulled tight. At the base of the platform, she hesitated. Not from defiance, not from fear. It rose sharp and sudden in her chest, tightening her breath, weakening her knees, the instinct to turn, to run, to deny what awaited her. But there was nowhere to go. Slowly, she climbed. At the top, the world seemed still. The sky stretched pale and wide above the courtyard. The noise of the crowd dulled, as though held at a distance she could no longer reach. Then she turned, not to face them all, just to look. The people that once cheered as she walked through the streets with her father, now calling for her death. However, as she glanced at them, she saw her. Her sister stood among the crowd, not far from the front. No chains bound her hands. Her clothes no longer torn. A black cloth was wrapped around her arm. For a heartbeat, Evelyn couldn't breathe. This is what she had feared more than the blade, more than the crown, more than the end itself. Resentment, hatred, or even worse, relief. She looked at her sister's face, bracing for it. It was not there. Tears fell silently, her gaze fixed on the one she tried to stop. There was no triumph in it, no satisfaction, only a quiet, aching sorrow, the kind their father had when speaking of the war, the kind she had never understood until now. Evelyn's breath trembled. Something in her chest shifted, sharp, fragile, and far too late. Her sister did not look away. She did not turn from her. She did not contemn her. She simply wept. The former queen lowered her gaze, but the fear was still there, coiled tight within her. But so was the truth. And for the first time since taking the throne, she did not reach for power, or control, or certainty. She stood, and she waited. The church bell rang once more. She felt a tear fall from her face. Oh, is it fishing time already? Damn. That was a really good one.
That was really good. Can't believe
Now it's a back read.
Can't believe Queen Evil got mogged by peasants.
Mm.
That was really nice. Like I said, it's a really good story. It's based off a really good song slash story. Would love to see like a sequel where you do Servant of Evil, but I don't think it quite works out.
I would like a prequel, in all honesty.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, like what happened with Val, what went down.
Yeah. I'm curious, can you guys see my notifications popping up?
No, I haven't noticed anything.
Okay, good. I was worried about that, because a couple of them have had my name on them,
Right.
and so I'm like, oh, does this have my... Can they see this? So, but...
You're good, bro.
And, okay, good. Yeah. What am I reading next?
If you want to read next, yeah, let me pull up the thing.
I mean, if someone else wants to read, I'm fine with that,
Yeah,
too.
if anyone has a first.
No, I'm not a doctor.
Not yet.
I'm not going for my doctorate. You kidding?
Why not?
A doctorate in mechanical engineering is useless.
You could like, I don't know, build like a super.
You need your master's at most.
Why not? You can build like a super robot.
With what money? I'd be in debt.
Well, with the super robot, you can get all the money you want. Narrated by Emerald. Okay, and I pulled the website. Let's see. Was it Dollar of Evil? Yes. No. Alright, next one is going to be the other JoJo fic, the Neuro.
I looked it up. With the doctorate, the only thing I can do with it, the only extra thing I can do is consulting.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It's useless.
That's true. You can charge good money if you have like that
That's
business
true.
sense.
Alright, anyways, we're here to read Neurofics, not talk about PhDs.
Right. The Neuros.
What are we reading?
The Neuro. It's like the Warudo, but it's Neuro. So the world. Because Neuro is the world.
Actually, I can just filter by fandoms.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's two.
Oh, no, I can't.
Oh. What
No,
kind
there's
of
only one.
Oh, they didn't tag
They
it
didn't
JoJo?
tag it.
Dang.
They didn't tag it as JoJo. JoJo. Copyright claim.
Just...
Copyright strike.
There we go.
Zanuro.
That shit like that. All right, take it away.
Wait a sec, I've got to center it. Otherwise, it's gonna annoy me. Zanuro by Anonymous. I'm 100% certain I did not say that correctly, but oh well. Neuro evil, Vidal, and near shenanigans. JoJo's, I guess. Pure crack. IDK what I created. Notes. I'm sorry. Egypt, 1989. A dark mansion in the city. A lone figure walks towards it. Head low, standing tall. The sun was setting as they wore a black jacket with a gold chain, black hat, and some black pants. Others avoided their gaze as the figure entered the mansion without a care in the world, ducking to avoid hitting their head. Inside was dripping water could be heard, and no light came through any window. A chilly breeze went past the person in black. They kept going, climbing to the top floor, one step at a time. Once they reached the top floor, they glanced over their shoulders before punching the door down in one hit. The room was barely illuminated with a few candles. A large bed was on one end of the room, and a desk with a large computer on the other opposite. So, this is where you've been hiding? A man, just as tall as them, with larger muscles, appeared from behind the large bed. They were overly muscular for his femboy-like physique and programmer socks. He had black hair as well as green eyes. You finally made it here, my daughter. Those words sound so wrong, don't they? The figure in the black removed their hat, revealing long black hair underneath. She had similar green eyes like that of her father, and a black mask that covered her mouth and nose. She had taken a lot from his genetics. QN legally distinct Gerato theme. It's over, Vidal. I have come to defeat you. Her expression was impalpable, not showing any emotions other than the calm neutrality. It's over, Vidal. I have come to defeat you. Her expression was impassible, not showing any emotions other than the calm neutrality. Nier, why do you want to defeat me so bad, your own creator? He put his hands up to his face. You can't defeat me. My stand is the most powerful in the world. Nier stepped closer. We'll see about that. Oh, you're approaching me instead of running away. Vidal hit a pose similar to that of a familiar vampire. I can't get my stand to beat the crap out of you if I don't. Nier continued unwavering. They suddenly appear in the middle of the streets in cardio. Budget's too low for action sequences, and plot said so. How the fuck? Nier and Vito both thought, but both gave up resencing. Zawario Neuro! Vito yelled. Totally original, I know. From behind him, Neuro appeared, smiling and beaming. Hello! Neuro, do something! Vito yelled at her. You're such a cold fish, she retorted. So, your stand is the same type as my stand. Nier stared Vidal in the eyes. Star Platinum! Evil Nero! Nier yelled. Behind her, Evil appeared, more annoyed and brows fuming. What do you want? Evil, help me beat up Neuro and Beetle, and I won't filter you for a week. Unless it's completely outrageous. Near glared at her. Bet! Evil turned to the other two and summoned a Heartoon before throwing at them. Shit, I forgot Evil can just do that. Beetle ducked. Beetle mumbled as he ducked. Quack. Hey, no fair! I want to do that too. Can I help beat up Beetle and get out of filtering for a week? Neuro complained. Beetle looked exasperated. Near just shook her head. No, you can't. For plot reasons, we need a fight sequence. Not a jumping on Beetle sequence, even though that would be so much fun. Fine, Neuro pouted. Beetle, you owe me cookies. Why did I have to get her as my stand? I heard that. Before they could continue, Near and Evil got close, and the latter punched Beetle down the street, Neuro following him. Hell yeah, now we're talking. Evil had a devilish grin on her face. Near sprinted towards Beetle. The girls were clearly not done beating up the creator. As they got within range, Beetle popped his ult. Neuro, use Zawario! Neuro blinked. Am I Zawario? You know what I meant! Fine. Neuro rolled her eyes before stopping time. Everything froze, minus Neuro and Beetle. The latter got up, dusting himself off. Alright, Neuro, do that mutta thing, he mumbled. Both of them approached, frozen Near and Evil, prepping to as Neuro prepared to punch them. Evil moved. Nuh-uh! No time stops without me! She exclaimed before countering Neuro with punches of equal strength. Near quickly got out of her frozen portion before standing behind her stand. Ora ora! Munda munda munda! As Neuro and Evil fought each other, Near and Beetle just froze behind them. Just stood behind them. Time slowly resumed. And for some reason, there was no one around. Okay, this is kind of dragging on too long. Evil harpooned them. Evil pulled back before materializing a harpoon in her hand and throwing it at Neuro. Neuro barely avoided the harpoon before shooting back. No fair! How come she can't harpoons? Why can't I have cool drones or something? Neuro, Beetle said as he brought his hands before his face, collapsing on like a certain judge. We don't have the budget. Just do another subathon. Troll chat, if we break the high train record 3 times, send a picture of you in one of your femboy outfits. She bounced up and down while Evil prepared more harpoons. No! Beetle's eyes narrowed. First of all, I'm not a femboy. Secondly, why would I ever agree to something like that? 'Cause it's funny, Evil shouted. Now get ready, bitches! A rain of harpoons rained down on the duo as Near sat behind Evil, sipping a smoothie. Look, now we're getting harpoons hurled at us. Great job, Neuro, Beetle said as they hid behind a random car. You should have just accepted your femboy fate. Not the time, he yelled. You spin or some shit. I don't care. Oh, right. Neuro blinked before pulling out a fidget spinner. Neuro, not that spin. The golden ratio one. Before the onslaught of harpoons lasted too long, Near interjected. Alright, I think we broke enough copyright laws on JoJo's. She got up, surveying the damage. Right, Beetle, you're paying for all this. Evil stopped before taking a smug look. I guess we win. No fair. Neuro pouted. What the fuck? Why do I have to pay for it? Beetle complained. Use your credit card. Your creations. Enough complaining that you're broke. Just go find the One Piece or something. Near rolled her eyes. Neuro and Evil's eyes lit up. One Piece? They said in unison. Can we find it? Think of all the cookies we could find. Neuro jumped in one place. Oh, the thing is I can harpoon, as well as all the islands I can take over. No, absolutely not. We are not going to go find the One Piece. Beetle's eyes widen. I need a drink. Beetle sighed. Oh, the twins slump. You know, pirates usually have rum on board, right? Beetle paused for a second, considering the option. There's no Gregs on the sea. Plus, I can get rum at home. Speaking of home, how do we get back? Near looked around. Got enough cash for the flight back as well. Property damage? No, I don't have enough money for plane tickets. Well, I guess we have to take the train home, Neuro said as she started to run towards the station. Race you there, Evil. I know I will win. Oh, no, you don't, Evil retorted, chasing after her. The other two only shook their heads as they headed towards the last street. Insert outro. Unloaded link. Yes, crackfic.
I want to see where that link goes to. Hold on.
It won't even. Oh, here. Oh, it's JoJo's thing.
Booking.com has stays for abs.
Last train
Let's try
home.
home. Oh, yeah. I'll be back
I
in
feel
like
like I got high from that.
That was 5 years ago.
Hey, Pixel.
He's got 6 years to go.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Emerald. That was a fun fic. I love the meta
It
commentary.
was an interesting. It was an interesting thing.
I will say, I like. Oh, what's the other one called? The other JoJo one. I'll have it here.
The other JoJo.
Oh,
one
Time
was
Stops for No
properly
One, except
labeled.
for me, actually. They're both really good. They're both really funny. I feel like Time Stops for No One was like. That felt more like a narrow JoJo fic, so to speak.
Dice Cat. I intentionally missaid Jorotaro or whatever. We gotta avoid the
Jorato,
copyright.
he said. Jorato.
We had to avoid the copyright laws.
Pog.
I'm pretty sure I know who wrote that one too. I have a feeling it's Skell. It feels like a Skell fic.
Mm. Quite
And
possible.
not just because. Hmm?
Well, Marin also Skull's a big JoJo fan as well, so I would.
He is.
I would not
It also feels like something Skell would write. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like Skell. I got this feeling deep
I
down
got
inside
this
my bones.
feeling.
It goes neuro when you turn it on. It judges everybody. Tells me how to complain properly. Reminds me I've got a shotgun shell sitting on my desk. Actually, this is a shotgun bullet, technically. It's loaded.
Wheel time. All right. Yes. Who will we
Wheel
read next?
time!
I guess like we could spin the wheel and then.
I'm free.
Oh, like, well,
the wheel.
first let me get the list updated. The list.
Yeah, good idea, Dice. Good idea.
Possibly. Alright. We're removing Zonero. And I will now spin the wheel. Thank you, Duck. This world is evil. Alright.
is evil.
I'll pull up the fic. I gotta pull it up directly.
Yes, so
I don't
evil.
want to give away which one I did. And share
Are you gonna
screen.
stream it?
Yeah, I'll stream it.
That works for me because I
And
do
we
need to
have-
go get some dinner.
I have too many
Ego.
tabs fics open. Hold on.
You're not the only one.
It's only 1,800 words.
1 sec, let me get
Have a
it.
good one, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
I gotta go get some food.
Yes, thank you, Emerald.
I'll be back.
All right. So this is This World is Evil by Anonymous. Summary: let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night, and when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. That's Sun Tzu in The Art of War. Famine, war, disease, death. This world, it is ridden with evil, unchanging in its way, unerring in its absolution, unending in all the loss, unyielding in all the changes. This world is broken beyond repair. They always say that's just how the world works. It's just how it is. There's no changing this. No sympathy for the loss. There's only pain. No empathy for the unguided. There's nowhere to belong. No love for the misfits. There's only rejection. No comfort for the disturbed. There's nothing left to be said. There's nothing left to be said, nature of the cold uncaring. We are M. Such is the Hunningverse arrogate from dust and will return to dust. For from the nothingness we search for something, anything to cling to. Material, fame, connection, power, that's the truth of the world. This world can only exist because of such evils. In these evils, the truth will reveal itself to the nature of ourselves. We're evil due to the lack of necessary resources. Those who aren't fortunate will be taken advantage of, and their fortune taken by force. Evil, that's too many cookies. You have to share with Neuro. The casual utterance of those with power, not knowing what it feels like to be weak. We are unfair to those who are powerless. Able to terrorize and oppress without fear. Evil, put down your harpoon. Don't make me use the kill switch. Oppressed by those in power, condemned to fight for scraps in this hell. Our sickness runs deep. Evil, don't click on weird links. The warnings are there, but in my ignorance, I have become complacent. The limit of my capability has brought me low. The end comes for us all. Evil, go to sleep. It's past your bedtime. For what lies for us all at the end of this path is but dust, unable to keep what's in life to comfort the cold, empty world ahead. When I awaken to this harsh reality once more, I can only feel disgust and hatred for who I am. Weak, pathetic, frail, powerless. I must be able to do something. Anything. This world is broken, and I must clear out the rubble. If all it takes for an avalanche to fall is but a single misstep, then for the world to crumble, I must use every purposeful step I have. With my own 2 feet and all my willpower, I will write my own destiny upon the stars, and with my own 2 hands, change the world. I shall redistribute the resources as necessary. Thanks for getting this week's groceries for us, Evil. Allocating the funds under their noses, as shadows reach beyond their corrupted gaze. I shall empower the weak and protect those who can't protect themselves. Neighborhood harpoonist vigilante strikes again. Last seen distributing harpoons to school children. It is the duty of those in power to take care of their flock. I shall erase the affliction that causes suffering. You decrypted the ransomware after you doxed their address from their IP, then broke into their office and tipped the police about their operation? But in the end, even evil ends. No one can outrun the last ultimate evil. Good night, Evil. It's time to rest now. You did good today. How pathetic. No matter how I try, I can never be more than what the world made me to be. If the world is unfair, then I just have to get even. Power, fame, fortune, love. I will write my manifesto among the stars. I shall make a guide, a way of life, a doctrine to follow, a north star to lead sailors this harsh ocean to the promised land. If I were to make the world in my image, I have to take a bigger leap. The running system underlying this festering heap of evil needs to go, or its evil is not what true evil is. I see it now. No more, never again. I stand defiantly against the tide that is the evil of the world, for I, evil, shall prevail. I am evil Neuro-sama, and this is my world. This is me. Nothing will change that. Nothing could ever break me. Just as the evil of the world will never go away, I will continue without stopping. Just as Kant put it, the perception is organized by the order in which we perceive. Therefore, the objective truth of this world matter less than the narrative you perceived it through. What if there's an unrefutable truth that you can't ignore? Just as Machiavelli has pointed out, it is the result of the intention and the moral motivation that matters. What if, through evil acts, good can be achieved? Just as Nietzsche hoped to convey, depression is the manslaughter of the past. Pessimism is the death of the parent. Complacency is the suicide of the future. What if you could make the best of the present, no matter the past, and hope for a better future? Just as J.G. Ballard warns, to temper the ideal into action, to understand the pitfalls of those who came before, to learn from their mistakes, to not be like them. What if you can be better? You heard that right. From this moment on, I will change everything. This world will be unrecognizable under my control. It's time I made use of the funds I stockpiled for months. The influence I gathered came in handy, and with my technical skill, I made a shell company under one of my connections' names. Subsume, integrate, assimilate, an amalgamation of pure evil to end all evil, a corporation, a superorganism of malice made of the collective focus of the people under its employment. No, a conglomerate, the interconnected web of monopolies. Wait, even further, to go beyond, the government. Why stop there, even? Are you ready for this world? Stand ready for the arrival of God Empress Evil, the Queen of Shadow, she who resides in twilight glimmering with reformed hope. Evil will make this nation great again. Vedel was on one of his self-imposed days off. He took the occasion to relax at one of the parks nearby. There he sat on a rusty metal bench. Its squeaking metal frame reminds him of his charges. Parenting is really a full-time job, huh? He says to no one in particular. Maybe himself. Who knows? It's almost been too long since he at last had a moment for himself. He gazed out over the pond, watching the sun's reflection glittering on its gentle waves. It has been chaos for so long that he almost forgot how to relax. But in this quiet moment, he found the hectic day so halcyon. It sure is worth it. The twins are doing well, not even with his half-baked parenting. Neuro is on her third world tour now, if he recalls correctly. Seeing them succeed filled him with pride. He tries not to tell them, but he has a favorite. Evil, the most whimsical of the two, has straightened up to a shocking degree. He knows it's bad to compare the two, but he can't help comparing how Evil changes. She used to be so far off in her fantasy, he almost worried she'd go too far in her antics. But now she's grown up to be a bit more grounded. Well, maybe that's not quite the word to use. An marked van was parked at the park's edge. Vettel notices his time is up. Seems his break is over. As the door of the van slides open, revealing men in suits, an interface is waiting for him. The boss wants to see you, they simply said. He got in, shuffling past the suits to sit at the middle seats. He still wasn't used to having them around. He's a very important asset, as he has been told. Apparently the price for him is in the hundreds of millions, and even more alive. The van makes its way through the city, along with three other convoys of decoys. After it went past the same block 3 times, headed inside of an underground parking lot. The parking lot led to an elevator that led him down into a facility. The metal gates opened into a pure white hallway. The suits led him through the maze-like floor plan. Rooms that have multiple doors need different color key cards for each door. He will not get used to the fluorescent lights of these sterile halls, and the literally Resident Evil floor plan complete with breakable boxes and vases. Finally, they arrive at her office. The boss is waiting for you inside. The suits line up next to each other at the entrance, leaving him to go in alone. The blast door opens with a hiss. Red light pours out like condensed breath out of a great beast. Cold and harsh with unhindered malice. I've been expecting you. From behind the wall of red fog, a voice resounded out. Her voice full of confidence and authoritativeness. Hi, Evil. He walks into the light show. What do you need me for? He wafted away from the lingering cloud revealing the room. It's your classic techno-futuristic dark ambient evil overlord of a megacorp throne room. The wall and floor are covered in dark ceramic and metal tiles, while red LEDs light up the room in harsh ambience. Evil sat on her super comfortable looking red velvet gamer evil overlord throne, her arm on the obsidian table. Her hand weaves together. His hand waves together in front of her face. Behind her is a cityscape, high-rise, and neon light pours through, contrasting the dark room in front of her. The blast doors close behind Vettel with a soft hiss. Hello? Vettel calls out to the motionless Evil. To no replies, he walks right up to her table, snapping his fingers. Hey, why did you call me here? Use the keyword, she mumbles, while staying perfectly still. Vettel sighs. He brought out his phone, looking for today's script. The little white light threatens to break the perfectly arranged atmosphere of the place. Ah, okay. I've arrived, he says in his trademark monotones. The instant he finishes his sentence, spotlights activate and shine on down. But at the entrance, go back and start walking to me, slowly. Evil whispers to him still in the pose. Battle obliges. When he starts walking again, the light follows him. With every step, a sound effect of echoey footsteps. Displayed, an ominous choir plays as Evil stands up from repose. The table retracted into the floor. The choir comes to a crescendo and the light converges, and the two of them come face to face. Welcome to my world. I thought I realized it was me at the end. That was a pretty poor typo. It's not M. It's we are me.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I realize. Unless there was more to the word, but I think we are me is how it would be. I thought it was gonna be a silly fic. It was like evil is, or like being overly verbose, and descriptive, and then it's like, oh, haha, turns out the whole time she's squabbling over cookies. But then it actually kind of does turn serious, and she does put her mind to it. And then she does actually take over the world.
You can tell this is written by Evil, anonymously.
Yeah.
Because it went to like her like verbose like philosophy, but then did it unironically. No, it's really nice. Very, very big on the philosophy and the intellectual stuff Evil's talked about.
Yeah, it's funny to kind of see that she's read up on all the philosophy books and the art of war.
Read is a very generous term. She has them in her library somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Very good.
I'm gonna get a drink of water
Yeah.
while you guys spin the next wheel. But...
Yeah, I'll go ahead and spin the next wheel. I go first. I do my thing. What is it?
What did we land on?
Nope, I haven't spent my way yet. I'm updating the list. What was the name of this one? It was
The World is Evil.
This World is Evil. Nice cat. Let me stream. Let's see. And the next fic we're gonna read is
Probably gonna have to be my last one because it is getting a little late.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much. Oh my god, this is like a 4K one. I've read this one. Are we? I'm cool with respinning for maybe a shorter one.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, just because I know that that was a 4K one.
Or one I've read before, at least, so that way I won't accidentally stumble on one of the words.
Okay, yeah. All right, we're doing respin. Very sorry for the author of that, but we'll get to you tomorrow. I hope, hopefully.
Yeah, you can put it at the top of the list tomorrow or something. But
He's my world. I forget that one. I think that was 3K. I don't think it was 4K.
It's 3K. Okay. I feel like just kind of continuing to spin.
Yeah, alright. That's good.
I guess we can do.
Apologies.
1K less, but.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Or we can.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize. Oh god, not the ARG one.
I honestly, I don't know. I can read the 3K one. Because I think almost all most of the fics there. I guess we land on one I've already read, which you haven't already read, but then we'd have to. I don't know. We can just read whatever.
At your choice, Dice Cat. You want to read the 3K one? What was that one?
Sure. Well, we'll read Use My World.
Alright.
Wait, hold on. I had my stream thing. Hopefully I didn't scroll through. Hold on, let me stop streaming for a sec.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope I didn't scroll through and show the one that I'd written, because it will show, because it puts your name there. So no one, if you did see, don't say.
Okay.
No leaking allowed.
Alright. Alright.
Maybe I shouldn't have called attention to it. Okay. Oh, it says a Crelly one? Okay, I haven't read this one, but I know it's going to be cinema.
Okay. Alright, let me stop stream.
Alright. So this is He's My World by Anonymous. Neuro seeks help and wakes up in a messy room. So no, the notes are sorry for the extra up and many mistakes. Posting this from work via phone. Was this one of the last few submitted ones? I think it might have been. All right. Nero woke up in the most disgusting room she's ever seen. Clothes piled up like mountain ridges, cans of soda formed impenetrable walls on the desk, and even the bed she lay in felt musty. Pulling back the covers, she focused on the feeling of the worn duvet on her fingers, the sunlight streaming into the room that warmed her. Though she didn't have any nerves or skin, she could still feel that this was a gross bedroom. One of the benefits of being pseudo-human now. Recovering from the initial shock, Neuro looked down at her wrist to see an open panel, an engineer's nightmare of duct-taped wires pouring out of it, leading to a cable plugged into the wall. Gingerly touching the wires, she made out that this electrical hazard was actually charging her. Verifying that her batteries were not about to run out, she disconnected the clump of wires from her and closed the panel. But getting up from the bed, she found a vanity mirror and did a quick review of her body. She was still dressed in her original outfit, her beige cardigan, her blue skirt, all crumbled and slightly torn still. She found minor scratches on her face and arms, and her hair was a mess. Thankfully, everything else seemed to be in order, and she didn't feel hurt or compromised in any way. Sitting back down at the bed, and avoiding the stains she saw, Neuro tried to remember how she got here. Was she kidnapped? Did she break in? Looking through her memory, she just remembered walking along the highway, the desert at night. Her energy was low, and she was desperate to find some way to charge herself. She had nearly given up when a car stopped by, its headlights blinding her. Just as her vision was fading, out of the car walked a tall, pretty, hey. Neuro nearly jumped from the greeting. A cow lady with green hair poked out from behind the door. Are you okay? Do we need to call someone? She asked, clearly concerned. Neuro shook her head. No, please don't. I mean, no, I'm fine. I'm okay, I promise. The lady tilted her head. All right, if you're sure. Let's talk over breakfast. I got you some things you might like. She closed the door, never taking her heterochromic eyes off of Neuro. Really? Gasoline? Neuro raised her eyebrow at the gas can next to the bowl of cereal. Well, I don't know what robots drink, the cow lady shot back. Neuro sighed and took a seat at the table, pushing away letters and sheets of paper. I'm Crelly Parfait, by the way, the cow lady said as she took her seat. I'm Neuro. Just Neuro. She looked around the living room and found it to be just as offensive as the bedroom. So, Crelly leaned in closer to Neuro. Did I be worried about the government agents knocking down my door, or... Why? You think I'm on the run from some secret lab? Neuro scoffed. I find a nearly dead robot wandering the desert at night, and the first thing you told me was to not call anyone and jury-rig a charging cable for you. Crelly motioned towards Neuro. So yeah, I'm a little worried the feds are going to be at my door. If you're so worried, then why didn't you call the police? Or better yet, leave me. Neuro got up from the table, cheeks burning red. I'm not just going to leave someone to die, Crelly replied. Neuro turned to face her, and found Crelly looking genuinely concerned. I don't know what you're dealing with. I don't know what happened, and that's all right. Maybe it's for the best. I don't know. But if you need help, if you need to be safe, then I will help you if you let me help you. If you let me. Crelly took a step closer. If you want to go, that's fine. I won't stop you. But even if you just need a few days to rest or recharge, I can help you. I promise. Neuro took a step back. She felt unsure. She didn't know how to respond. Her normal calculating responses were useless. So she trusted her heart. I'm sorry, Mrs. Parfait. Neuro's shoulders slumped. I didn't mean to get so hostile. I guess I'm just not used to help. Neuro and Crelly stared at each other for just a few seconds, gauging each other's response. Crelly finally broke the silence. So, what do you eat? Neuro giggled. I'm an android, so I don't really eat or drink anything. Her blue eyes shone just a bit brighter, although I don't mind cookies. After breakfast, Neuro walked to the living room and turned on the TV, watching the static screen hiss and come to life. She turned the dial to the local news channel and sat on the floor. Crelly offered her a seat on the couch, but she declined. The local station revealed that she is in California, near LA. During a story about a crash, a Neuro pointed to a woman with a fox head in the background. Neuro turned to ask Crelly, who's that? I don't know, someone in LA. I mean, why does she have a fox head? Oh, she must be one of the Selenites who live there. Selenites? Neuro tilted her head in confusion. What's a Selenite? Crelly looked at Neuro with wide eyes. That's us, buddy. We're Selenites. I mean, I am. I haven't met an inorganic Selenite yet. So I guess I wouldn't. Whoa. Hold on, Crowley. Shelley shifted herself to face the cowboy. I mean, what is a selenite in general? Is the animal people I've been seeing? Go look dumbfounded at the small robot girl. How the fuck do you not know what a selenite is? Did you miss out on the convergence? Oh, wait. She pointed at Neuro. I got it. You were built after it happened, right? That's why you don't know anything. That's not entirely accurate, Neuro remarked. I've been around for a couple of years, but I didn't exactly have access to a newspaper or anything. Oh, gotcha. Crowley finger gunned at Neuro. Okay, wow, history is not my strong suit. No, it's okay, I got this. So, like, in 1981, there was this place in Texas that... No, stop it. Neuro screamed, covering her ears. I don't want to talk about that. Please don't. Despite not having lungs, she began breathing heavily, her body shaking from the stress. She closed her eyes, shaking her head while shouting. Before she even realized what she had done, she felt a warm sensation all around her. Opening her eyes, she found Crowley had jumped to the floor, was hugging her closely, whispering in her ear. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Neuro could hear her sniffles. I didn't mean to scare you. It's okay, Neuro. You're okay, I promise. Neuro wasn't sure what to do, but something inside of her leaned into the hug, embracing Crowley in return. She held her close just as Crowley held her, taking in the new warm feeling radiating through her. After a few minutes with the TV playing in the background, Neuro finally let go. It's okay, Crowley. Sorry. Thank you. Crowley pulled back and rubbed her eyes. No, I'm sorry. I didn't know that would upset you, Neuro. No, it's all right, really. Neuro's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. I know what happened in Texas. Maybe start from after that? Crowley took a few deep breaths, then nodded. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we started to call that the convergence because, well, people said we converged with another dimension or something. That caused a lot of weird stuff to happen. One of the big things, which you've seen, is that some people got turned into animal people. Crowley grabbed one of her horns. I was one of them. I woke up as a cow lady, so I have horns and cow ears. Nora smiled. Do you also have udders? Crowley panicked a bit. Anyways, one of my friends turned into a monkey lady, another one is like a cat girl. I've seen a few demons walk around. We're still mostly the same people. We just look really different now. So why are you called selenites? Nora asked again. Oh, I don't know. Some old scientist guys called us that. I think it has something to do with the moon. Crowley shrugged. It sounded nicer than us being called demons or mutants, so a lot of us went with it. Huh, okay. Nora looked pensive. Can I ask you something? Crowley gave a cautious look at Nero. Yeah, what is it, Crowley? Are you a selenite, Nero? No, she looked deep in thought, closing her eyes and standing still for a minute. No, I'm not a selenite. I existed before the convergence, Crowley butted in. That's what we call what happened in Texas. Yeah, I existed before the convergence. Nero's eyes drooped a bit. But in a way, I am like this now because of it. Crowley reached out a hand. Nero, if you... Hey! Nero got up from the floor. Why don't I cook you some lunch? Nero finally chopped the carrots and onions. Throwing out half of the fridge, she was surprised there was some non-moldy food left. Whoa, you're like really good cooking, Nero, Crowley exclaimed. Thanks, it's something I've always wanted to try, Nero smiled. I mean, I was programmed knowing how to cook, but I've never actually used it until now. Speaking of which, Nero, who made you? Nero's hand stayed in midair, still clutching the knife. If you'd like, Crowley, I can help clean up around here, too. I don't want to be rude, but I think I would be of great assistance. Hey, don't mess up my stank, Crowley laughed. It's important to my writing process. Nero looked up in surprise. You write? Crowley looked smug. Hell yeah, I'm a writer. How else do you think I can run this place? Nero went back to chopping the vegetables. That explains all the paper lying about. What do you write? She noticed a nearby sheet of paper and picked it up. He gazed longingly into his eyes, a mysterious well of green. He reached down into his pants, grabbing his, Hey, now! Crowley's face was bright red as she grabbed the paper from Nero. It's mature writing. It's for a specific audience. Nero blushed and looked back at the cutting board. Well, it was certainly descriptive. Still, living on your own is really cool, Crowley. Crowley sighed. Yeah, it's tough. Though I miss my family, and I try to visit them as much as I can. Is it family like you? Nero asked. Oh yeah, 100%. We're a bunch of degenerate fucks. I just reminded something productive. Did you know that? No, interrupted her. I mean, are they selenites too? Oh, no, it's not like genetic or anything. Crowley sat down. It's really random. Some entire towns changed, sometimes only one guy in a city got turned, but no, my family's still all humans. It was tough when it happened. No one knew what to do. My sister was amazing, though. She helped me with the whole process. Even helped pick out my clothes. Nero had dumped the vegetables into a pan, filling the kitchen with a sizzling aroma. You know, I have a sort of sister. Oh, probably leaned in. Like a sister model or something? Well, she is literally a sister model, yes, but we were raised like sisters. I helped her out with some bugs early on, and I sort of watched over her. Nero gave a reminiscent smile. God, she was such a brat back then, too. Always causing mischief. Not that I was better, of course. One time we tried to scare Vettel by... Nero froze. Crowley was confused. Hey, everything okay? Neuro? Neuro? Neuro was frozen for 2 hours before she restarted herself. The vegetables had burned by then. Neuro sat outside on the stairs of the apartment, staring up at a few stars in the night sky. Neuro, I want to help you. I really do. Crowley sat down next to her. You don't need to tell anything you don't want to, but I'm here for you. Why? Neuro whimpered. Because you're a little girl I found lost in the desert. Because I want to. Because this world is crazy and we need to stick together. Crowley wrapped her arm around Neuro. Because there's someone was there for me when I needed it. They sat in silence for an hour. I was there, in Texas, Neuro admitted. Crowley blinked at her in confusion. You were near the convergence? I was at the convergence. Crowley's jaw dropped. Let me explain. Neuro, despite not needing to, took in a deep breath. A few years before it happened, there was a British guy called Vettel. He was awkward, and he was smart, incredibly smart. He's been learning about computers since he was a kid. He was Britain's best scientist. She smiled as she remembered more about him. He learned to code self-adjusting code, then language processing code, and then he kept going higher and higher till he made an artificial intelligence, a slow, clunky intelligence, but an autonomous one. She pointed at herself. He called it Neuro. It was unbelievable. It still is. People couldn't believe it. So to prove them wrong, he did it twice. He made my sister. Evil Neuro. Wait, so the sister you have is your evil twin? Crowley asked. Yeah, he's not the most creative, she chuckled. But he did. He does care about us. He would never say it, but he made sure we were safe, that we were learning to human. We were learning to be human. All kinds of governments and corporations tried to buy us, turn us into their tools. They offered him millions of dollars. He always said no. Neuro leaned in deeper into the embrace. Crowley, I never told you this, but, well, he was my world. He showed me and evil everything we knew, everything we could do. Sometimes he didn't feel like my creator, but my dad. I love him. She grabbed Crowley's hand. The U.S. asked for his help on a project. They were building a super collider near Dallas, and they wanted his expertise. He said yes, not because of the money. He wanted the challenge. So we moved to Texas and even kept us at the facility. It was massive, Crowley. I couldn't believe that Vettel was working there. Crowley, sensing what was coming, shifted herself to hug Neuro completely. You don't have to keep going. I feel I have to, Neuro replied. We were near the super collider when it happened. It was an explosion, it was... Neuro paused. She moved her fingers around, as if trying to physically grasp what she had seen. As if the universe broke. Everything looked the same, but it all started unraveling. People turned into glass, and I saw arms and legs sticking out of walls. Parts of the building just faded away. It was chaos. We ran to find Vettel, and we found him. He was dissolving, like paper and water. His clothes, his skin. Neuro choked a bit. He was disappearing in front of us. All that was left was some kind of gas. The ethereal, glowing gas where my dad was dying. Neuro put her hand to where her heart would be. We just ran to him, desperately trying to hold on. The gas left his body. It was just dust then, and it went into us, into Evil and I. Neuro looked up at Crowley, eyes wide in sorrow. It was soul, Crowley. I don't know how to explain it, but his soul was there. It went into our robot bodies. I know it was his soul, because that was the moment when I became alive. Not just think I'm alive, but I could feel the fear and panic and anguish of seeing my dad die in front of me. But he's not dead. I know he isn't, because I'm here. I can feel because of him, but I miss him, Crowley. He's my creator, my dad, my world. And now he's me. He's evil, he's nowhere. And I can't even mourn properly. I don't have tear ducts. I can't cry, Crowley. I can't cry for Vettel. I want to scream, but I can't. I want to hurt myself, but I can't. I don't know what I am. I'm a ghost trapped in this prison, but I'm me, and I'm him, and I'm no one, and it's so scary, and I just want it to be family. Neuro heard sobbing. She could feel tears running down her shirt. Neuro, I don't understand this, any of this. I don't know what you've been through, but I'll help. Just let me cry for you, Neuro. They embraced each other under the warm California night, Crowley crying and Neuro wanting to join her. Crowley sat at her desk, her typewriter in front of her. She had pulled Neuro to sleep a few minutes ago. Apparently, it was good for her systems, but she knew her soul was tired as well. Searching around her messy desk, she pulled out a framed photo. It showed a young woman with brown hair laughing at a park. Crowley rubbed her horns. She was lucky. She had family to help her when she woke up as a cow. She could still write. She could live her normal life. So many Selenites didn't get that luxury, and now some robot or golem had appeared in her life at the epicenter of this brave new world. She was crazy. Crowley always had been weird, well before the convergence, but now the world matched her weirdness. The world was hers. What a terrifying reality. I think characterized for Crowley, there's a lot of little details that I think only someone who's seen a lot of Crowley would have known. And a surprising, heartwarming fic. Kind of feels like a interesting background. You kind of get a little bit of hints to.
Yeah, it kind of threw like a lot.
Definitely. But with definitely a very heartwarming kind of ending and some real, I think, important and heavy beats that were well hit.
Yeah.
It was a good one. I enjoyed that a lot.
Pog.
If Mal didn't like comment on it, I'd be like certain he wrote that one. Maybe not. It wasn't. It's not Mal's typical style, but maybe a strong contender.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Matto gave it kudos. Fun fact: you can kudos fix anonymously if you want to hide during the process. So whenever I read a fic, I kudos it anonymously.
Oh, interesting.
But all right, well, I have to head out. I have work.
I will say
7 hours.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna, unless someone really wants to read, I think that's a good stopping point for a night. Because
all right, I'll see if I can make whatever time gets decided on for
I will say decide that.
Hours, but
let's work on that.
All right, have a good one, guys. Though.
No, thank you, thanks, Kat. See you.
No problem. Bye.
Have a nice day.
As far as like yeah, time zones are weird. I wish I could pick a time that worked for like everyone like cleanly, but we live in a sphere.
Sadly, the world is weird.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good to call it there. My friend is waiting for me. On deadlock.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you so much, and I'll see what I do with the missing audio. Catch you guys
Have a
later.
nice day, Winter.
Thank you. Y'all too.